Good morning, student. Myself, Bhavna Joshua Rai, and today we will go through the story that is named as Dusk, Unit 9, and the writer of this story is H. H. Munro. You can see here H. H. Munro was a Scottish journalist and writer. His pen name means the name of the writer to whom he is writing the letter to his friends. He does not mention his real name. His pen name was Saki. He was known for writing witty stories which were set in the early 20th century and poked fun at society. He was considered a master of short stories. So, now today we will go through the explanation of the story. I want that you should open your book and sit with your book. Always sit with your book, so you must know the pronunciations of the word and you will know how to emit the word into the sentence. So today we will start with dusk. First, you should know what is the meaning of dusk. The time in the evening when the sun has already gone down and it is nearly dark. To feel sorry for somebody. So it is the time of evening. You have many times you have seen that the evening time compares with the time of morning, early morning. So the time of evening and morning time is similarly as the same. So the evening time is probably when the sun has gone down, it is nearly dark. So this is known as dusk. So let's see. Norman Godspie sat on a park bench on an early March evening. It was 30 minutes past and dusk had fallen heavily. The roads or sidewalks wore a look of emptiness, occupied on by silent figures that moved through the half light or sat quietly on chairs and benches, so that they melted into the shadows in which they sat. Dusk, to Godspie's mind, was the hour of the defeat. He sympathized with him. Men and women who fought and lost in life's battle, who came forth in the gloomy hour of dusk, when their shabby clothes and unhappy eyes might pass unnoticed, and just beyond, on the other side of where he sat, were rows of windows from which shone bright lights that cut through the darkness of the evening, forcing it away to Godspie's mind. It seemed that these brilliant lights marked the abodes of those people who had never had to admit defeat through life's struggles. Thus, did Godspie's mind imagine these things as he sat on the bench in the near deserted sidewalk. So, in this paragraph, children, Norman Godspie was sitting on the park bench on early March evening. It was 30 minutes past 6 and dusk has fallen heavily. So, Norman Godspie was a man who was sitting on the bench in the park, and it was 30 minutes past. That means it was almost 6:30. in the evening and dusk has fallen. That means the sun has already gone down and it is nearly dark, and the darkness was very fallen very heavily. The darkness is very means heavy. The road and sidewalks, the road and the footpath, sidewalks means footpath, wore a look of emptiness. That means no people, no person, no men, women, children are walking on that road, occupied only by the silent figures. Silent figures means those person who are very quiet, moving from one place to another, the that move through the half light or sat quietly on chairs and benches. So these silent figures, silent people moved through the half light. Half light means the light which is not coming properly on the way. They sat on the chair and benches where half light is coming, so that they melted into the shadow in which they sat. So melted into the shadow means they sat to so still in the darkness that one couldn't see them. So uh, dusk to God's by mind. So the evening time is talking to the God's by mind. That was the hour of was the hour of the defeated. He sympathized with them. So the dusk was talking to God's by mind that these people are totally defeated. They have lost their battle of life. So God's by was sympathized. Sympathized means um, to feel sorry for somebody, to feel sorry for somebody, to those men and women who fought and lost in life's battle, who came forth and in the gloomy hour. Gloomy means dark in the way that makes you sad, of the dusk, of the evening time, when their shabby clothes. Shabby clothes means, you can see here shabby clothes has been written. Shabby clothes, they are wearing the clothes which are not properly cared for. That means they are torn from different places. So, and their eyes, you can see an unhappy eyes. That means their eyes and their heart is not very happy, and it is showing in their eyes that they are not extremely happy, and they are moving here and there, and nobody is noticing them. And just beyond, on the other side where he sat, were rows and windows which shone bright lights that cut through the darkness of the evening, forcing it away. So you can understand, on the other side of the park, many where the benches and chairs has been putted, on the other side there were rows of windows from which shone bright lights. They cut through the darkness of the evening, forcing it away. As soon as the evening time, as the darkness fall, immediately your parents or your grandparents switch on the lights. You are also not been able, even we are also not been able to see the light in the darkness, unless and until we should not switch on the lights. So it is very necessary to switch on the lights. Here also the rows of the windows are there which have shown bright lights, that is cutting off the darkness of the evening and forcing it to go away. So let's move on to God's by mind. It seemed that these brilliant light mark at abodes. Abodes means places of residence of those people who had never admit to defeat through life's struggle. So God's by mind, to God's by mind, he was thinking that these brilliant lights are the places of those people, the residence of those people who have never gone through the struggles of life. So, thus, God's spy might image these things as he sat on the bench and ate in the near deserted sidewalk. So, thus God's spy minds imagined these all things, and he sat on the bench in the near deserted sidewalk where nobody is walking here and there. Near deserted means where there is deserted, you have seen, where nobody goes unless and until it is not necessary. So sidewalk means the pathway. Sidewalks, I have told you, it is known as the footpath. So God's spy has sat on the bench near the deserted sidewalk where nobody is walking. So let's move on. So on the bench by his side sat an elderly gentleman with dropping shoulders, but there was certain daring in his face. His clothes were not shabby, but one would not accept him to wear a carnation in his buttonhole. As he rose to go, God's spy imagining him returning to home circle, where nobody cared for him. He got up and walked away. So here children, on paragraph number 2, on the bench by his side where God's spy is sitting, an elderly gentleman with a dropping shoulder, means his shoulders has been bent down, and he was sitting next to him, but there was a certain daring in his face. That means he is not frightened of anyone. His clothes were not shabby. Shabby means not torn. He is properly dressed up, but one would not expect him to wear a carnation in his buttonhole. So carnation means a type of a flower that was pinned through the buttonholes of the collars of stylish and fashionable gentlemen in the 19th and the 20th century. You can see the picture of a carnation here. So here, as God's spy has seen this man, he couldn't imagine that he was not expecting that he is wearing a carnation on his buttonhole, because that was the sign of the stylish and fashionable gentlemen of 19th and 20th centuries, and it was not expected by God's spy that he is wearing this type of cloth. As he rose to go, that means as he stand up to go, God's spy imagine him returning to a home circle. So as that elderly gentleman was standing and he was about to go, God's spy imagined that he is going to his friends and family where nobody cared for him. He got up and walked away. So this man has already got up and walked away. Now moving to the third paragraph, his figure vanished. Vanished means to disappear suddenly or in the way that you cannot explain, slowly into the shadows. His place on the bench was soon taken by a young, fairly dressed but a sore looking on his face. He uttered an angry grunt as he flung himself into the sea. So here, after this elderly man is disappeared suddenly or in the way that you cannot explain, that he has gone with the shadows and disappeared. His place on the bench was soon taken by a young, fairly well dressed but a sore look. Sore look means a disappointed and unpleasant expression face on a young man. He uttered means he was complete and angry grunt. Grunt means to make short low sound in the throat. people usually grunt when they do not like something, or they are not interested to do and to do not want to talk. So as he flung himself into the sea, he throws something suddenly and carelessly with a great force, and he has seated up on the seat on the bench. So you don't seem to be good temper, said Godspy. So Godspy has seen that this man is already very angry, and he is making a low sound from his throat as he don't want to talk to anyone, and he was a short tempered man. So looking to his facial expression, and you can always see that action speaks louder than words. So here also, God's spy is watching this man, and he said that you don't seem to be in a good temper, that your mood is not good, said God's spy. The young man turned to him and said, you wouldn't be in a good temper if you are in fix. I am in. I have done the silliest thing in my life. So this man has given the answer to God's spy that you wouldn't be in the good temper if you are not fixed with all the things that is going good with him, and he has done the silliest thing in his life. So God's spy asked him, what have you done? Asked God's spy. Came up to London this afternoon. I thought of staying at the Pantagonian Hotel in Berkshire Square, said the young man. So the young man said that he was is the silliest thing he has done in his life. He came to London this afternoon and thought of staying at the Pantagonian Hotel in Berkshire Square, said the young man. So let's move to the another point. When I got there, I found that it had been pulled down in a place of a hotel in a cinema theatre had come up. The taxi driver took me to another hotel some way off where I could stay. I at once sent a letter to my people giving them the address. Then I went out to buy some soap. I had forgotten to pack any, and I hate using hotel soap. Then I strolled up a bit, had a drink at the bar, and looked at the shops. So here this man has said that when I got there, I found that it had been pulled down. In the place of the hotel, a cinema theatre had come up. That hotel was removed from that place. It has been shifted to the another place. The taxi driver took me to the another hotel. So the taxi driver has taken this man to the another hotel some way off where he could stay. So the man again said that at once he has written the letter to his people, to his family and friends, and given them the address. Then I went out. Then this man has went out to buy a soap because he has forgotten to pack any, and he hate to use hotel soap. Then he strolled. Stroll means a slow walk for pleasure. So he get out from the hotel and had a drink at the bar and looked at the shop from where he could buy a soap, because he is not comfortable to use the soap of the hotel. When I turned my steps back to the hotel, I suddenly realized that I didn't remember the name of the hotel or even what street it was in. I have no friends in London. I can write to my people for the address, but they will get my letter only tomorrow. Meantime, I'm without any money. Came out with a shilling in my pocket, which went in buying the soap and the drink. Here I am wandering about with 2 pence in my pocket and nowhere to go for the night. So here now one incident has taken place in this man's life. He forgot, as he turned his step back to the hotel, he suddenly realized that he'd forgotten the name of the hotel where he was staying. The name of the street he was forgotten, that where he has to return back, because it was a new place for him and he forgotten the name of the hotel. So he said that I have no friends in London. I can write to my people for the address, but they will get my letter only tomorrow. So here he explained that he has no friends in London, and the letter to which he has written to his family and friends for the address, they will get the letter only tomorrow. Meantime, he is without any money. He came out with a shilling. Shilling means a unit of money which was used in Britain, in his pocket, which went in the buying of soap and the drink. And now he was wandering. Wandering means to walk somewhere slowly with no particular sense of direction or purpose. About 2 pence in my pocket and nowhere to go for the night, he explained. So coming to the ninth line, a story was followed by a long eloquent pause. I suppose you think I have spun you an impossible yarn, he said. So the Godspy was listening to his story. The story was followed by a long, eloquent pause. Eloquent means significant, meaningful pause. And then the man said, I suppose you think I have spun. Spun means told an unbelievable story. He said, not at all impossible, said Godspy. I remember doing a similar thing in a foreign capital. So Godspy was giving a sympathetic treatment to this man, and he said that not at all. You have told me an unbelievable story, but I do believe that I remember doing a similar thing in a foreign capital. Godspy is satisfied with his answer. So let's move to the next one. In a foreign sea, but on that occasion there were two of us. We remembered luckily that the hotel was smaller, on a smaller canal, and after some search, when we found the canal, we found the hotel. So, but on the occasion, but on that occasion, there were two of us. We remembered luckily that the hotel was on the smaller canal, and after some search we found the canal, we found the hotel. So here he was giving a sympathy, and two of them have gone together. We remembered luckily that the hotel was on the smaller canal, and after some search they found the canal and they found the hotel also. 11th line tells us, in a foreign city it wouldn't be difficult. I could go to the consul and get help for him here, unless I find a decent chap who would believe my story and lend me some money. I'll have to spend the night perhaps to the embankment. So in the foreign city, the man is saying, in the foreign city it wouldn't be difficult. I could go to the consul. Consul means an official appointed by the country's government to live in a foreign city and aid and protect his own country's citizen living there. And the man was very upset, forgot the address of his hotel and having no money in his pocket, and He has purchased one soap, he has gone to the bar and he drink, and now he has no money in his pocket. So this consul will is a person who is appointed by the government to live in a foreign city and aid and protect his own country's citizen living there for help. Here, unless I find a decent chap means a man who could believe his story and lend him some money, then I'll have to spend a night perhaps on an embankment. Embankment means an area in London on the bank of river Thames. Here in line number 12, have you got the soap with you? Godspy asks. So now the sincere question has been asked by Godspy, that have you got the soap with you? Godspy asks. The young man at once sat forward, felt rapidly in his pocket of an overcoat, and then jumped to his feet. I must have lost it, he muttered angrily. So the young man, as soon as Godspy said that, asked that, have you got the soap with you? So the young man at once sat forward and felt rapidly, that means he was searching in his pockets and overcoats, and jumped to his feet, that I must have lost it. So he was saying that I must have lost the soap. He muttered angrily, that means he spoke in a low voice very angrily. So Godspy said, the weak point in your story is that you are unable to produce the soap. To lose a hotel and a cake of soap on one afternoon suggested willful carelessness. So Godspy said, the weak point in your story is that you are unable to produce a soap now. So to lose, you have lose a hotel also, and you have lost the cake of soap on one afternoon suggested, and it was a carelessness of yours, that you have done so many things, and totally you are insane, and you lost everything. You have not remembered the name of the hotel, you lose a hotel, you lose the cake of soap, and you have no money in your pockets, and this was a deliberate carelessness. When the young man heard this remark, he hurried away from the path, his head held high. So this young man, when he heard this remark by Godspy, he hurried away from the path, his head held high. Held means to take something and keep it in your hand. So he ran towards the path, and to go to that shop from where he has purchased that soap. It was pity. It was pity, Godspy thought with a smile. The going to get one's own soap was the one convincing touch in the whole story, and yet it was just that little detail which didn't help him. If he had been clever enough to provide himself with a cake of soap wrapped and sealed at the chemist counter, he would have been a genius in his profession. So it was pity. Pity means it was very sad to hear that, Godspy thought with a smile. The going to get one's own soap was one convincing. Convincing means able to make somebody believe of something that touched the whole story, and yet it was just a little detail which didn't help him. If he had been clever enough to provide him with the cake of soap, that man is able to help provide himself with a cake of soap wrapped and sealed at the chemist counter, he would have been a genius in his profession. Whatever work he is doing, he is a genius. So with this thought, Godspy got up go to, and he did so. He let out an exclamation of surprise and sympathy. Lying on the ground under the bench was a small oval packet wrapped and sealed. It was the cake of soap. It must have fallen out of the young man's overcoat pocket when he flung himself down on the seat. So, with this thought in his mind that this man has done a silly mistake in his life, and now he went to the chemist counter from where he has taken the cake of soap. So Godspy got up and he did so, and he let out an exclamation of surprise. You know that exclamation mark is used to express your sudden feelings and emotions. So exclamation of surprise and sympathy was there, and lying on the ground under the bench he saw that a small oval packet wrapped and sealed. It was a cake of soap. It must have fallen out of the young man's overcoat pocket when he flung. Flung means, I have told you already the meaning of flung. To throw something suddenly and carelessly with great force. That is the meaning of flung, and himself down on the seat when he had taken the seat in the park. The next moment, Godspy was running along the dust-covered path in anxious search of youthful figure in a light overcoat. He nearly gave up the search when he caught sight of him standing on the border of the carriage drive. Godspy hailed him. So the next the next moment, Godspy was running along the dust covered. That means Godspy was running to the evening, the dark part covered with darkness, and he was anxious, worried, and afraid in search of a youthful figure. Youthful figure, that means the young man who was wearing a light overcoat. He nearly gave up the search. That means he found, unless and until he found him, he has caught his sight. That means he is able to see him is standing on the border of a carriage drive. That means in the carriage where he was going to sit in the carriage, and the carriage will take him to the place where he wanted to go. Godspy hailed him. Hailed him means he called out to. So, the important witness to the truth of your story has turned up, said Godspy, holding out the cake of soap. It must have slid out of your overcoat pocket as you sat down on the seat. I found it on the ground after you left. I didn't believe your story. You must excuse me for that. So, but the appearance. Here we will stop, but I will explain you this line. The important witness, that means your story is completely true, and has turned up, said Godspy, and he returned the cake of soap that he is holding in his hand and showed to that man. It must have slid out. He said that might be this soap has been fallen down from your overcoat pocket as you sat down on that seat, and I have found this cake of soap on the ground after you left, and I didn't believe your story, but you must excuse me. I feel very sorry for that. But the appearance, now see the appearance. But the appearance of the soap changed everything, and now my doubts are gone. If a loan of a sovereign is any good for you. So Godspy has said that the soap, as he found that soap, he has cleared all his doubt, and he said that I found that your story is totally true. And if the loan of a sovereign means an old British coin worth about £1 is good for you, you can take. The young man took the coin and hastily pocketed it. So the young man has taken that coin from God's pie and he has put that coin inside his pocket. Here is my card with the address. Continue God's pie. Any day this week you can return the money, and here is the soap. Don't lose it again. It's been a good friend to you. So God's pie has given his card with the address written on it, and God's pie has uh, said to him that any day in this week you can come and return my money, and here is your soap, and I think that you will not lose it again, and it's being a good friend to you. So luckily you found it, said the young man, and blurting out a word or two of thanks, he fled. So luckily you found it. That means he said to God's pie that by luck you have found this cake of soap, said the young man, and saying something without thinking, and a word or two of thanks, and he fled. Fled means to run away or escape of something. Poor boy nearly broke down, said God's pie to himself. So God's pie was saying to himself that yes, this poor boy, that means he is very sympathetic with this boy, and he said that he is a poor boy and he is totally collapsed. Broke down means collapsed. As God's pie retraced his steps past the seat where the drama had taken place, he found an elderly gentleman poking the ground with his stick beneath the seat, and realized that it was his earlier fellow occupant. So, as God's pie walked back the same way he had come back to the park where the drama has taken place, he found an elderly gentleman. He was searching something on the ground beneath the seat with the help of his stick. And then he realized, God's pie realized that he was the elderly gentleman with the bent shoulder, dropping shoulder, and he was searching with the stick on the ground. He was searching something on the ground with his stick beneath the seat. Beneath means under the seat, and he realized that it was his fellow occupant who was sitting on the bench before he went to sit on that bench. Have you lost anything, sir? God's pie asked to that elderly gentleman, and the elderly gentleman said, yes, sir, a cake of soap. So you realize that it was a very funny story, that the young man was very angry, and he told a story to God's pie that he has lost his hotel, he lost his cup of cake, soap of cake, and actually that cup of cake of soap was belonged to that elderly man, and not to that young man who is totally insane, and he was a thief. He was taken the money from God's pie, and he run and escaped from him, and God's pie was not knowing where he is living, and he will never come back, and he told him a fake story, and with that fake story he is telling him that he lost everything, and he has taken the money, the cake of soap, and he ran away. And after some times, when God's pie went back to take that cup of cake of soap, he realized that the cake of soap does not belong to this person, it belongs to the elderly gentleman with the dropping shoulder who was sitting in the park before he went to sit there. I hope that you have understood this story. Do the exercises in the book. It will be sent to you. I will post it afterwards, and I hope you have understood the story, and read this story. Some of the words are very, very important for you, and please go through it. Thank you for the class.